This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. This, we talk about Native issues, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. I just want to say today's show, this episode is of Native Roots Radio is presented in partnership with Little Moments Count. And Barb, we've always had a lot of fun and a lot of knowledge. I want to just welcome you, Barb. And Barb is the CEO of Indigenous Visioning and All Relations Rise. And we talk good things about what's going on in education and what you're working with. So, Leigh, do you mind introducing yourself?
Sure, you bet. Good evening, everyone. I'm joining you from Pueblo, Montana, on the great lands of the Salish and Kootenai people and Kalispel. My name is Leigh Ann Courville, and I'm a member of this tribe, and my grandmother's from the Turtle Mountains in North Dakota. And I'm speaking to you guys tonight from Salish Kootenai College in Pueblo, and we're going to talk a little bit about our early childhood program here at SKC and the lab school that we have on campus, and some of the challenges that parents across Indian country, I think, are facing similar to us, and some of the unique perspectives of our peoples.
Wow. Hey, I got a couple questions, and one of them, I want to bring this up, and we bring this up a lot, but I want you to tell our audience why early education is so important, and how does it set up our children and our young ones to be successful adults?
Absolutely. The passion of my work. So when we talk about early childhood, we're really talking about setting up a person, the foundation and the trajectory of their lifetime. So much of the brain structure is built in early childhood that impacts that child's health, their cognition, their language, their sense of self, their social emotional, their ability to make relationships and have healthy relationships, and that all begins in the beginnings, in that early childhood birth, even in utero. Birth to 8 period. It's a really special time that we have to really set a trajectory for a person's life, and also really invest in our communities and for our country, really, because we're helping those people become strong and ready to take on what's ahead of them.
Right. Hey, you've been doing this for 20 years in both Montana and Alaska. And now you're, at the Flathead Reservation. What can you tell us about early childhood education department, and what is the difference? What is different than any other programs that you've worked with?
Okay, sure. So here at SKC, the Salish Kootenai College, we in the early childhood department, we were lucky. We have an associate to bachelor's early childhood degree. We also have what's called a P3 degree, which would prepare teachers to teach preschool to 3rd grade and opt to get licensing through the state of Montana for a teaching certificate. And recently we've added on a master's in literacy and also integrated Indigenous education, which is really, really unique and exciting for our campus. So I think one of the really unique things that we do at SKC is that we, especially in our education department, but also across the campus, we have embedded culture and language into our degrees, and that's part of our mission and vision here at SKC. And so some of the work that has been done even previous to me coming is re-scripting the sciences to reflect place-based culture and the traditional knowledge that's been here for a really long time, and built that into some of our courses. Our students are required to take a year of language in either the Salish or the Kootenai language of their, either one that they choose, because we know that language and culture is as a reflection of our identity. And like many tribes, we're at a kind of critical spot for that. So we've embedded that right into our degree plan. And I think that we really try to build in cultural understanding into our classes and incorporate community people that can share that place-based knowledge and understand the place, whether it's a person from this tribe or a visiting tribe, that they can learn about our place and also reflect on their own home practices and the place that they live as well. So I think those are some of our unique parts that we have at Salish Kootenai College.
That's awesome. Barb, I had such a great intro for you too, and with our technical, but Barb Fabre is the CEO of Indigenous Visioning and All Nations Rise and is an enrolled member of White Earth Ojibwe Nation. And we're always so happy to have you on, Barb. What a great program it sounds like Leigh's running up there.
Yes, I had the pleasure of visiting her center with the Bipartisan Policy Center last fall with Linda Smith, the director of their early childhood initiative at the Bipartisan Policy Center. And it was an amazing visit. I was in awe. We all were in awe all week, and we did the documentary, which can be found on the Bipartisan Policy Center website.
Wow, that's exciting. And, to collaborate is just a beautiful thing. Do you guys have any stories that show the success of implementing like this curriculum? And I know that's been going on. You've been working hard on this, both of you, for years. Leigh, do you have anything that you could share here?
Sure. When I was thinking about that, I was thinking about the curriculum that we've kind of began to hybrid at our lab school, the SKC Early Learning Center. And it's always a work in progress, but we continue to look for practices that we feel like are going to best meet the needs of our students and our families. And so we've done a little bit of high scope. We do a little bit of Montessori. We do, we're always trying to work on culture and language in our program. And so that's sort of, I think, we have that opportunity and freedom to fix that curriculum to meet our needs.
Let's talk more about that after this short break. We're really excited. We're, hanging out with Little Moments Count and Barb Fabre and Leigh Ann, and we're going to talk more about early education. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Being a former teacher, this is always an awesome show, Barb, for me to listen and to hear all the great work that you're doing, and also Leigh Ann, what she's doing out there. Let's talk a little bit more about, the curriculum and how that curriculum that you two work with really serves our little ones, our Native little ones.
Sure. So in early childhood, especially in Indian country, it's really important to have a good curriculum, that helps our kiddos be excited about reading, writing, learning. So we're creating lifelong learners, and we know in Indian country, our babies need the best of everything. So high quality early childhood is that. And, and often we indigenize westernized curriculum to fit our needs in our classrooms. And then we integrate it and immerse our culture and our language. And there's a lot of wonderful programs out there that are doing a lot of innovative things around that. But I'd love to have Leigh Ann share what they do at their center.
Sure. I think, Barb, you hit on an important part too of that need to indigenize the Western curriculums that we sometimes are told that we have to use or that are available. It really is something that we're working on constantly, I think, at the on our campus. And for an example, we were able to, through one of our programs here at SKC, we had a native language teacher who needed to do student teaching, and we were lucky enough to get her. And when she did her practice in our center, she really brought a whole nother level of culture and language into the classroom with the children and the teachers, gathering natural plants and learning about life cycles, the respect of the drum, different kinds of different kinds of songs and morning songs, and just really, I feel like, vitalizing our teachers also, and getting them excited about different ways of bringing that into the classroom. And I think it's always, it takes a lot, it just takes work and dedication to continue that. We're lucky at our department in education here that we recently added on a culture and language specialist that's going to continue to help us grow even in our education department, and embedding into our curriculum that will prep teachers, from early childhood to secondary and into our 2 master's programs. What a great opportunity that we have that support right in our building, and can continue to share that out with people.
Wow, that's exciting, Barb. And one of the things too is, I think Leigh Ann was just explaining how important, and what does tribal provide in childcare mean. That was a great definition, Barb.
Yeah, well, we need to level the playing field. We've got, our communities, our tribal communities are dealing with a lot of issues. Historical trauma is the main one, which often, has initiated the education gap. And, communities are hurting and families are hurting. So we need to do everything we can to level that playing field. And we start with early childhood. And much like Little Moments Count, it's adding those teaching moments wherever we can. And we do that with our curriculum. We do that with our culture, our language. There's a lot of great resources. Little Moments Counts has on their website is wonderful resources for parents and educators. On the Bipartisan Policy Center, if you're an advocate and want to learn more about tribal childcare, go to the bipartisanpolicycenter.org and learn how you can get involved and help children in your community. But it's early childhood is so important. It helps improve social skills. It's linked to greater successes in life when kids have a good early childhood start. Early childhood is childcare, it's Head Start, it's preschool. So it's a lot of different forms. And it gives parents the freedom to go to work or school. And early intervention, we're able to catch things early on before they become something. So earlier intervention services between birth in 5 is so critical because that can help, that can really change their trajectory of their life if they don't have early intervention services. So there is a lot involved in early childhood, and a lot of programs try to hit all those important pieces. So you can tell we're passionate about it because it's so critical.
Well, what I liked was the story Leigh Ann said about a young one coming to do her teaching and bringing young blood in that probably, from my experience being 61 years old, that they have more culture than I was brought up with in a lot of ways. And hearing young ones coming in and being excited about teaching what they know traditionally.
Yeah, I think, Robert, building on that, that representation matters. And for our identity beginning at such a young age, for young children to be able to hear their language or learn about their language and see themselves reflected and honored in their learning spaces is really an important gift that we can offer. And Barb hit it. There's so much to it. And we really need to think about how we can invest better in early childhood for families, all families, to have access to that service. And it's such an important part of that foundation. And the challenge that we're having also is just supporting teachers, right? It's very often women of color that are doing those jobs, and they're challenged by being able to live and take care of their families while also doing that really critical and sacred work of caring for and educating our young children. So I think that's the other part we really hope to continue to advocate for as well.
Yeah, definitely. And Barb, is there other ways that we want to see the program change to the needs of your community? Is it flexible like that?
Yeah, the community can support the early childhood programs. They can get more people, help the tribe recruit childcare providers and educators, and help create, cultural support to those early childhood programs. So there's a lot, and the tribal leaders support is important. So childcare is really critical in if piece of a community and successful economic development. So we need to have those pieces in our community. So the community could gather around your early childhood programs and say, what do you need? What are your challenges? And learn about their successes, because, they're taking care of our future leaders, our future teachers, our future presidents. So, that's pretty important, and they do need your support.
Well, before we get going here, I just want to remind everyone we're really excited to partner with Little Moments Count and host these conversations on early childhood development. And we do this monthly, and we have a guest, and Barb comes in and helps us really facilitate in a good way what's going on. And I want to ask you both this, but first, Leigh Ann, I want to say thanks for coming on, but how can listeners find out more about what you're doing? And then I'm going to ask Barb the same thing.
You bet. I can share our SKC website information and also my email and one of my coworkers' emails, that the work that we're doing through our TCU Head Start Partnership and Kellogg and EEIC that is really helping us do this work. But I can certainly share our website and our contact information.
Well, give it a shout out because we are radio. And
okay. All right. So skc.edu is our main website for Salish Kootenai College. And I can be found on that website, and also my email, which is going to be long, LEIGHANN_COURVILLE @skc.edu.
Well, Barb, thanks for coming on. We know your website here is Little Moments Count, www.littlemomentscount.org. Thank you so much, Barb, and Leigh Ann. Nice to meet you.
Thanks a lot for having me. Good to see you, Barb.
I just want to say thanks to you and Little Moments Count today. If you're listening to the show, you are part of the resistance from Chief Plenty Coops. The ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, or run for office. We're still here. Remember, Daniel just said up here, never trust the Washichus. We do agree with that today. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been Native Roots Radio. Free Leonard Peltier now.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.